Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast, the show for accounting, tax, and bookkeeping firm owners. Are you ready to build a firm that gives you the freedom, confidence, and consistent revenue without burnout or undercharging? If you've ever felt stuck discounting your fees, chasing clients, or giving away too much advice for free, you're in the right place. Here, we talk about sales mastery, charging premium prices, creating boundaries that stick, and learning how to convert high-value clients with confidence and ease. Each episode, you will hear real success stories, sales strategies, and guest experts who will help you work less, earn more, and finally create the firm and life you deserve. Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. Today, we have a very special guest. Our special guest is an award-winning accounting firm owner, speaker, and author of Your Financial Flight Plan. She founded AdminBooks in 2003, which is run 100% virtually, remote, with 10 people, where they focus on QuickBooks Online, payroll, and tax planning services. She is also an EA and an advanced QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor, and has served both on the Intuit Tax Console and PASBA's Board of Advisors. And her passion is helping entrepreneurs run profitable, purpose-driven businesses. So she brings a very warm, practical voice that she delivers, which you're going to hear today. She's fantastic. But if you're a firm owner and you feel like you've created this firm that feels like a job that you can't escape from, and you don't have any sales systems in place, and you don't really have a plan for your freedom of time and money, it's time to make a shift. You shouldn't have to hit burnout or get to your next revenue goal crawling, right? You don't need to have more clients. You just need to maybe have better quality ones or generate more revenue from the ones that you already have. So here at the Abundant Accountant, I show you how to package your services, raise your prices, or if you're a new firm owner, not have the mistakes that so many other firm owners have had. And so you can have a firm with high margin clients that actually respect your time and value you. If you're interested on what that looks like, you can schedule a complimentary strategy call over at theabundantcall.com, where we can lay out a roadmap that turns your firm into a real asset instead of just having a job. So again, if you're ready to elevate your firm to a new height, go to theabundantcall.com and schedule your complimentary strategy session with me and my team. We assess your current sales process. We're going to identify the key revenue opportunities that you have that maybe you're missing out on, so you can really pursue bringing on just dream clients and converting your current clients into more premium paying clients. And now let's welcome our very special guest, Renee Daggett, to the show. Welcome, Renee, to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Michelle. It's been a long time that I wanted to connect with you, but also share my heart.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited to have you back. And, I feel like we did a podcast, I don't know, maybe it was years ago, or maybe we never done one. And I'm just hallucinating right now because I have been a little under the weather and took maybe too much NyQuil and DayQuil, but I've known you for a long time, and I'm super excited to have you here on the Abundant Accountant Podcast. Before we dive in, I've already done, your intro and other things, but I always think it's better to hear it directly from you. So I'd love it if you could share who you are and, what is it that Renee does?
Absolutely. So my name is Renee Daggett, and I have been an accounting firm owner for about 22 years now. Mm-hmm. I have about 10 team members, and we are virtual paperless. So we're spread over 5 different states. I got my EA license and my QBO advance, and I'm currently located near Sacramento. If your listeners are familiar with South Lake Tahoe, I'm about an hour outside of Tahoe.
Nice.
And I just love the idea of running a business. I finally feel like I've grown up, baby, toddler, and now I'm in my adult years, and I am constantly wanting to learn and grow. But yeah, that's who I am. And I'm just super excited about making a difference in the lives of other accountants to help them learn and grow as well.
Totally. And I know that's what we're going to be talking about today. So if you listen to the Abundant Accountant podcast, I know you're an accounting, bookkeeping, tax, fractional CFO firm owner, or you're in a job and you have your firm on the side, but you should probably go grab a pen and paper right now because Renee just mentioned she's been doing this 22 years and you run your whole business paperless from all these different places with 10 people. So we're going to be talking about certain pillars that you should put inside your firm so you can actually be the CEO of your firm instead of feeling like you have a 24/7 job that you created for yourself and you feel like you have shackles attached to your ankles and a desk and you can't ever work on your business and you're always stuck in it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm super excited because Renee, I'd love it if you could maybe start out by sharing, like, what was your personal story that made you say, okay, I got to change things up? What's happening is not working. You were in your baby years, your toddler years, your kid years, your teenage years, and now you're in your adult years. But share with us what those early years were like for you and what said, okay, is enough is enough.
Yeah. Those early years, I made a lot of mistakes, and I am bold and courageous enough to share what that looked like for me. So I found myself working 12, 14-hour days, 6 days a week in the off season and 7 days a week during tax season. I was preparing returns, meeting with clients, and I had a local office at that time, and I even was cleaning the toilet. So I was doing all the things, even when I had a small team around me. I knew I could not scale the business that way. I was just feeling overwhelmed, and I was just not running my business as I needed to be. In fact, one story that I've shared multiple times is the story of one of my team members. Her name is Amanda. She was in the other office, and I walked into her office and I said, "Hey, do you need anything from me? Any questions for me? How can I help?" She goes, "No, I think I'm good." And I walked out of her office. I don't know if you or any of your listeners can resonate with this, but I walked out of her office saying, thank goodness she didn't have anything for me to help her with, because I have my own stuff that I need to do. And I'm stressed, I'm starving, all the things. And I'm embarrassed to say, I was just a terrible leader. And one of the questions somebody asked me is, would I follow the leader I am today? Back then, no, I would not follow the leader I was back then. And so that's one of the two questions that really motivate me, drive me to constantly improve my firm, even after 20 plus years. So would I follow the leader I am today? The second question that I ask myself is my firm the best place to work? And so that helps me look at my processes, my pricing, my people, my product. It's like, what can I improve? What is missing, broken, or confusing? It could be personal development in my leadership, because leaders are not born, they're built, and I'm still learning how to lead well. But those are the two questions that I asked myself. I will say another common mistake is I didn't increase my prices for a long time. I was just too busy working in the business. So therefore, I had a loss of income, which then lacked opportunity to hire the right people to help me. And I was holding on to work. You know, everybody says, nobody can do it the way I do it, right? Well, that's not wise. I had to learn to, it's called, I was wanting to be in control, right?
Right.
I had a control issue. But then again, I lacked clear processes to even delegate to my team. I avoided hard conversations, all of those things. I wasn't leading, I was reacting. And so hopefully I'm not alone when I share some of those common mistakes.
Yeah, I don't think you're alone. I think that's pretty common for sure. So yeah, no, thank you for being so open and honest about that. And then I know you took it like one step further because you're like, okay, how can I help other firm owners do the same? And I know you've spoke on this topic on how we can, you know, become a better leader in our firm. And I love the questions, you know, would I follow the leader I am today? Number one. And your number two, is my firm the best place to work at? I think that's the number one question in my opinion. I always say that here at the Abundant Accountant. I'm like, okay, is the Abundant Accountant the best place to work? And every time it's like, hell yes. You get lots of perks. We go on trips. It's fun. Hopefully you don't work too much, you know, like, and we get to serve our clients at a high level, like you were sharing. So I guess for a firm owner that might kind of be feeling like you were, Renee, where they were, you know, totally always in control. And, you know, like you said, you weren't leading, you were just being reactive all the time. You don't have processes in place. Like, what are some baby steps for some firm owners that are also stressed out? Like, I already don't have time to do my client work. So how do you expect me to, you know, create these processes so I can be a better leader? What would you share as like the number one pillar that a firm owner should start writing out, thinking about, figuring out?
I have identified 5 things that were really key in driving me to working on my business and not in. To me, I see them as, you know, steps. And the first step has to be vision and or your why. You know, I enjoyed meeting with clients, right? I just needed at that time to delegate the tax prep work, the bookkeeping work. And so that was my first step, is to delegate that. But I had to have a vision of what did I want to do and what did I want to delegate. And as I went through, you know, as the years went by, I was better and better at articulating the vision of what I wanted to do. And honestly, it was for me to get totally out of production. I have not prepared returns for probably 10 years. I haven't met with clients for about 8 years, and I haven't done sales for about 4 or 5 years. So I am completely out of production. The cool thing is that when those people in those roles quit, I don't go back to them because I have the structure in place where my leaders step in and take over. But I will tell you what drove me, what forced me, let me use that word, what forced me to delegate was a medical situation where I had daily migraines every single day for a year and a half. And I physically couldn't do all the work. I could work some, but there were days where I just had to step away from my computer, my screen, and close my eyes. And I just physically couldn't get the work done. And I don't know, Michelle, for me, that was a God thing, because if that didn't happen, I would be doing all the work still, meeting with clients. So the first pillar, the first step, is to understand your why and to have a vision of what you want to do. I didn't want to meet with clients in the end, but I understand the joy that is received when you do meet with clients. So first step is to have the vision. And so what does that mean practically? that means I created an organization chart to figure out what my team needs to look like. Now, my name was in the janitor box. My name was in the meeting with the client box, right? My name was in the IT box. So, and it was just a matter of taking those boxes and finding people that could fill those boxes. A second practical tip was reading the book Traction, EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System model, where they have the different points of what you need to do to have a system to run your business. Traction was really instrumental in giving me ideas because, again, I started this business actually by accident. That's a whole nother podcast. My husband started an S Corp, and I said, what is an S Corp? I graduated from San Jose State University with an education degree and a music degree.
Wow.
I am not, my background is not in accounting, not in finance. So I became a bookkeeper.
I had no idea.
Oh, isn't that a fun story?
Yeah.
So I became a bookkeeper to get his books in line. Our enrolled agent said, wow, these are great financial statements in QuickBooks. Can you teach my clients QuickBooks? I taught his clients QuickBooks. I got my own, and here I am 22 years later with 10 employees. So anyway, that aside, but how to run a business, I had to learn how to do that. And then setting goals, and EOS talks about quarterly rocks and goals. And so it was just baby stepping the vision, the org chart, learning. There's a lot in Traction and EOS, and then just setting goals. I was doing all the goals until I started to delegate those goals to my team. So that's the first step. I will say successfully, the next step, I had to be clear about the roles in my firm. And so I had to create job descriptions from scratch. The one other practical thing that was really helpful in building the firm is articulating a career path. It's, again, why would people come work for me in my company? Well, it wasn't until I created job descriptions and a career path that I could attract fantastic candidates that want to work here. So we have in our tax department, in our bookkeeping department, we have level 1, level 2, level 3, a manager, a leader. And so they, come in my firm. I've had people, bookkeepers, wanting to work for me. And they said, I will take an admin role until you have a bookkeeping position available because I want to work for you. And so that's what I did. Actually, Erica, who works with me now, she's been with me 8 years, I think, if I'm correct. But she came to me and she goes, I have she was schooled in bookkeeping and she wanted to work for me. She started off in the tax admin role. Then I had a bookkeeping position open. She worked in the bookkeeping position for years. And then I had a manager role available. And now she's in my manager role as a leader, doing fantastic in that role. So you have to paint a vision of what it would be like to work here. And there is a career opportunity.
You said a career path and articulating what does the future look like? And I think that's where a lot of people miss the boat, for sure. Yeah.
No, and have a website page on your website, have a landing page there on demonstrating not only the career path, but getting, in a sense, testimonials from your employees, what they say about working for you. And then we have all the fun pictures of what we do together, even though we're a virtual team.
Yeah, no, that's super cool. That's very unique, I must say. Because I think, Renee, I've worked with thousands of firm owners, been doing this a long time. And the number one hardest thing for people to do is hire a good team. looks like you've kind of figured out how to do that because you 100% rely on them. But, like you said, you wrote job descriptions from scratch. You're articulating the career path. You're showing them how they can move from level 1, 2, 3 to get to leadership. I'm sure you're paying them top dollar. And I love that you're getting testimonials from them. That's cool. Do you also invest in their like personal growth or personal development? I loved one thing when I did have employees back in my last life, anyone that wanted to go do personal development or continuing education, I always paid for. It was like one of my brands I loved back in the day before I think someone bought it or something, was Lululemon when it was small. And they sent everyone through like the Landmark Forum. And I just thought that was just so cool. And everyone learned about integrity and about all these things. And do you do anything like that for your team?
Yeah. So besides the required continuing education for enrolled agents and CPAs and the bookkeepers, we have, I made up something. So I'm smiling and kind of laughing, but the part that I made up in my firm, we have something that I called assets, liabilities, and actions, where every year each team member identifies what they're good at, what they want to improve upon, and then the action that they will take for the upcoming fiscal year. We do it every July. Now, team members will choose different things that they want to improve upon. One person said they want to take an Excel class. All three of my leaders, they have one-on-one coaching. So it's developing them as a leader, right? Leaders are built. They are not born. So it comes, those assets, liabilities, and actions, they get to choose something, and then we support them in that choice and help them grow personally. We also have professional development, which I'll talk about in the third pillar, which, if you're okay with, we'll move to the delegate.
Well, did we do the second pillar? Because the roles is this what we just talked about, right?
Yes, and that's number 2. So the first pillar is vision, your why.
Yeah.
The second step or pillar is the roles.
And that's where you created your org chart and stuff. And then okay.
Well, the org chart was my vision. The roles were the job descriptions and the career path.
Okay. So the org chart's still part of step 1, and then got it. Okay. Yeah, let's go into the delegation department, pillar number 3.
Yeah, so delegation, again, I struggled to delegate because I wanted to control, micromanage everything. And this was hard for me, I have to say. But this is the goal. This is the golden nuggets of delegating and monitoring. So how did I get tasks off my plate and delegate that to my team? The first step was I did all the work, met with the client, right? Second step is I had somebody prepare the tax return behind the scenes, and then I would meet with the client. The third step is I had them prepare the return and join me in meeting with the client so that the client could see them, hear them, build a relationship with them. Now, mind you, we're in a virtual environment, so this is all on Zoom. Yep. So we're, sharing our webcam, meeting with the client, walking through the tax return line by line, doing tax planning, strategy, all of that. And then the fourth step was I had them prepare the return and meet with the client without me. And all the emails go to them. They meet with the client. They prepare the return. I'm brought in to, give advice on how to handle, different situations, maybe just to get some input there. But it's more than just delegate, because I need to monitor how they're doing. Right. I don't want to micromanage. I don't want to know every single detail. You take ownership of client A, B, C. that's your responsibility, is to take ownership of that. How I lead and how I monitor is from scorecards, dashboards. Mm-hmm. So we have, as you can imagine, we're numbers people. So we have dashboards for everything. And so our KPIs, and I don't know if you can provide this to your show notes or anything, but I can give you the KPIs that we track. And it's, for the firm, it's KPIs for tax preparation. It's KPIs for bookkeeping.
Send it to me and I'll put it with your bio. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. But one thing that I wanted to highlight in the delegation and monitor pillar is something that's called KRAs. KRAs stand for Key Results Area. And Key Results Area are basically KPIs for each person in their role. So imagine in your mind's eye 3 to 4 results that each role is required to provide in order to be successful in their role. And also imagine in your mind's eye, we use a Google Excel document. And so on the left side are the 3 or 4 items, and then there's 12 columns, one for every month. We do a fiscal year, and it's July through June. And every month, each team member gets feedback on those KRAs to let them know if they are successful in their role. We mark it, the dashboard, green. If they are not exceeding expectations or meeting expectations, we put the cell or the box in pink. Why pink? Because I'm not confrontational and I don't like red. So it's green and pink. And then that way, and this is a mistake that I made. Every year when I would do my performance reviews, I'd be so embarrassed because I have nothing to tell them on how they were doing because we never recorded or created KRAs and gave them monthly feedback. It was embarrassing. It's like, oh God, goodness, this is awkward. So delegate and then monitor is the third pillar there.
Wow. That sounds so confusing. And I think having all the KPIs in the show notes will be very helpful. But we'll get to the confusing part later, because I know if you're listening and you're like, well, Renee, this all sounds great, but how do you help me? She can maybe help you if you're a firm owner and you want to get out of production and just kind of be like her. So actually, Renee, I have a question, okay? When you were thinking about your why, because you said you weren't, you had what'd you say, music and some other degree?
Elementary school.
Yeah, education, that's what it was. And that your husband, you got into this because of your husband. So there's a lot of people maybe listening, and I'm just going to play devil's advocate. And just like me in my business, right? Like I still love to review client homeworks. I still love to be on the coaching calls. Like I just want to be a part of it. I'm actually trying to do the opposite. I don't want to delegate everything. I'll delegate some of it because we just need help in order to help more people. But, I don't want to do all that like hands off. So what would you say to that firm owner that's maybe like, well, yeah, Renee, that's great, but you don't meet with any clients. You don't do any enrollment meetings. What would you say to someone that wants like a hybrid approach?
You can do it. And my question to you, the listener, is let me see your job description. Where is your job description?
For themselves as the firm owner.
Right, for themselves. Right. I have a job description for. And
what's yours?
My why?
Can you tell me your job description? I want to hear Renee's job description.
Well, oh goodness. Okay. So I looked at it recently, but can I come up with it off the top of my head? So it's basically mentoring, investing in my 3 leaders. So I meet with them weekly and I'm constantly challenging them, mentoring them, investing in them. And there's this one, I'm a reader, and there's one book called The Coaching Habit. And so what they say in that book, the premise for me that I took away was coaching them for development, not performance. And let me kind of put a practical way of saying this. Our mission for my firm is to make a difference in the life of my client, in their business and in their life. So my team, that is the mission, make a difference. Now, I have converted that mission, and Renee's job is to make a difference in the life of my team, to invest in my team, to be the best place to work. That comes in different formats from, mentoring them every week, meeting with them one-on-one. But also, my job description is I teach webinars, it's education. So I'm doing what I was trained to do, but I have a heart of a teacher. I love to teach. And so I'm just teaching, instead of teaching my clients what's deductible, what's not,
right, and
tax strategies, I'm teaching my team.
Yeah, you're teaching your team. So you're doing your educating in what you got your degree in. I love it. Yeah, it's great. That's cool. I love it. Yeah, and you're doing webinars and, driving people to probably your different areas of expertise and what you guys do in the niche that you target. When you have a team of 10, what's your revenue right now? What's like year to date, or what's
over $1 million?
Over $1 million, but under
couple
two
years, yeah.
Like around 1,
under
or
2.
Is that like 1.2 or 1.5, 1.6, 1.7?
It's about 1.1.
Okay, 1.1. So about $1 million firm with 10 people. Got it. Okay, that brings things into context. I think that's important.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
You ready for step number 4?
I am ready we've figured out how we have to delegate and how you're going to have your meetings and manage our KPIs and monitor our dashboards and our scorecards and our KRAs, which also means key result areas. If you did not get that in your notes, make sure you take your notes. And you'll probably want to rewind and re-listen to this all over again, along with the show notes so you can follow along. But yes, let's go into pillar number 4.
Pillar number 4 for me is culture. And I have to start out with this step by saying, when I was young, my mom would buy that marshmallow fluff in a jar. That's exactly what I thought of.
I don't even know what that stuff is. Ew, that sounds gross.
I'm a little bit older than you. It's basically, I don't want to say liquid marshmallows, but melted marshmallows that you would put in food. But to me, I
know what you're talking about. It's like a jar with white stuff in it, and none of it makes sense. Yeah. Like, how is that food, and how should a human body ingest that? That's just gross. The whole thought of a marshmallow is pretty gross, but white goo in a jar is really gross.
Don't you like chocolate s'mores with the graham cracker and the marshmallow? I love those, but not in a jar. Not in a jar,
but I think it's weird to roast this thing that turns into goo, basically. I would love to run that by a chemist one day to ask, like, how the hell was this designed to begin with? But I will just eat the chocolate. I'm not a fan of the graham cracker part. I'm not a fan of the marshmallow part. I am a fan of the, coziness around a fire pit and roasting something. Yeah. But anyway, so culture reminds you of our marshmallow fluff in a jar. Okay, keep going.
Culture, values, mission. When I started my business, I thought, goodness, that's a bunch of marshmallow fluff.
Okay.
I just need people to put their nose down to their desk, to their computer, and get work done. Do not talk at the water cooler in the break room. We got to get stuff done.
Yeah. And I was like that. I was like that in my 30s with my last business. Yeah, it didn't work out very good.
Yes. But for me, I had to learn that culture is crucial. Core values are so important. In fact, we hire to our core values, work done with excellence, innovative to new processes and new technology. In fact, when I'm hiring, I tell them, okay, we're innovative to new technologies. Are you comfortable on the computer?
Yeah,
now,
right.
people might say, yeah, I like programs. I work on this program and that program. And so what I do is I show them the technology that they will be required to use.
Yep.
And I press it hard because I either want them to say, ooh, I'm so excited to work with Renee and her team, or, oh my word, this is more than I really want. So I'm trying to weed out people that do not fit our culture. In fact, we had a big discussion with my leaders recently where years ago we would hire for skills. Skills super important. It still is. But the importance of hiring for a culture fit, hiring for core values that match is almost like 55% and skill is 45%. Because I can teach somebody how to reconcile QuickBooks. I can teach somebody how to do the balance sheet on a tax return. Yep. But I can't teach values and attitude. Yep. And so I want to be able to enjoy hanging out with my team. And our team has been together for a long time. We have team members that have been with me for 11 years, 10 years, 9 years, 8 years. So, it does show that there's longevity there. But, culture, core values, mission.
So how'd you come up with it? So important. So you say this, I'm sure you've got a book that led you into figuring out how you were going to come up with your culture, values, and mission. How did Renee come up with it for the firm? Well,
I don't know that there was one book, and I will tell you that I've always been a fan of having one-on-one coaching, again, because I feel that I need to learn how to be a good leader. And so whether it's in one-on-one coaching, and I've been doing mastermind groups with other mastermind in people in other industries, as well as accountant-only mastermind groups. And so just learning from other people who have been there, done that, and having them talk about culture and core values. And I just learned from them, learned that I needed to be intentional. And, you always hear people saying people don't leave companies or firms, they leave leaders. And so I just really have a constant drive to improve and grow.
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah, I evolved as a leader. I've had my team since 2018, pretty much most everybody. But in the last business, oh yeah, it was like I think a lot of firm owners struggle with this too, Renee. It's like, people just like quit all of a sudden and you're like, oh, I wonder what happened, right? I'll never forget, I had an personal assistant at the time, just left her computer overnight one night and just said, okay, I'm done. Like no 2-week notice, no nothing. Went on to go have a baby and start a family. I'm like, where's the respect? And I think it's just like you said, it's a direct reflection of you. And I think you've had people there 8 years, 11 years. And I think for firm owners, it's like we have to just kind of put a pause on things and start to take a look inward in ourselves. You had to become the better leader.
It's investing in them in their career, and build them, professional development, but it's caring for them as a human being.
Right.
Right. We had a team member that her grandmother was ill. We had a team member that lost a dog after, I think, 14 years. We had, life happens. How you treat one another is it tells how engaged and invested the employee is with your firm. Are they just going to leave their computer there and walk away and start a family? Or are they going to have conversations with you and they're going to say, in fact, I have a firm survey, and one of the questions is, how long do you see yourself here? 1 year, 3 year, 5 years, other. And I will tell you that most of my team puts other, but there was 1 year where one of my leaders marked 3 years. And I'm like, oh no, 3 years. What if she's going to leave me? Well, that created a great conversation where I could say, hey, Nikki, you marked 3 years. What's going on? Tell me more. And she goes, I would like to retire. My husband's getting ready to retire. I would like to retire. I'd like to spend more time with my grandchildren. And so we had a 3-year exit plan for her to delegate and promote within. And it was a great conversation. It was a win for her because she left well. And it was a win for us because we loved on her and then promoted within. And I don't know, you just have to treat people like human beings and be willing to have uncomfortable conversations.
Yep.
Ready to go to pillar number 5, the last pillar. I call it incentivizing. And I will tell you, this was the last pillar for me that I implemented. And I only implemented this recently. For years, employees would say, I want a raise, or I expect a raise, right? Or they have this, I just assume they want a raise, right? But yet, perhaps they lacked motivation or poor quality of work, or before I had KRAs, or even after I had KRAs, they weren't meeting expectation. And it can be a huge problem because we all want to feel valued, and partly how we feel valued is getting a raise. And don't give a 50-cent raise. To me, a 50-cent raise is not good.
That's not a raise.
Minimum of $1, if not more. And that's another topic we can talk about. But the best way that I solve the problem with giving raises is through incentive pay. And so basically what it is they are paid a base pay, and then they get rewarded, bookkeepers and tax preparers, based on their performance. And so the more that they do, the more money they bring in for the firm, the more money I can pay them. So I did a baby step on this, where when they move to a higher level, like from 1 to 2, level 2 to 3, et cetera, they would get more money for the role and the responsibility. The second step that I did is I gave bonuses when they were productive, maybe after tax season, or I would do a Thanksgiving bonus. But now I am rewarding my team that the more that they are productive, the more I'm able to pay them. And it's a win-win-win situation.
So can you give like an example of what this looks like in slightly more detail? Just a tad?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's just say I have a tax preparer and we pay them $30 an hour as a base pay. And then what I do is based on the work that she does, let's just give 2 examples. Say she completed 20 returns in February as one example. And then I would pay her a percentage of those returns. That percentage is actually, I've surveyed a lot of different other accounting firms that do incentivize their team. And remind me, Michelle, to give you some books that I recommend on this.
Just email them to me. I'm going to add I'm going to have a Renee section of her top books that you should read as a firm owner. That's what I'm going to do.
Yes, I love reading, and I have other books, but based on other firms, they incentivize 5% to 30%. It just depends on if their pricing is accurate, meaning where it needs to be. If they're underpricing, they might go higher on the incentive percentage until they catch up on charging clients more. This is a whole nother workshop. But in this situation, if the preparer prepared 20 returns, they would be paid a percentage on that, and they would get a bonus in February. But if she did 30 returns, she would get a higher bonus, right? Mm-hmm. So that the more that she does, the higher the bonus that she would get. And so it's just a way for her to holler when there's like a 1031 exchange on a tax return, or on the bookkeeping side, if a client added 3 credit card accounts. Typically what happens is the bookkeeper or tax preparer doesn't say anything when the scope increases, but you bet that they will holler if the scope increases, because they want to increase the client's fee because they did more work, understandably. Right. And then, so we stay within the budget hours. We also look at accuracy. We keep within our margin goal, and then upselling services there as well. So I hope that's an example that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did you have any other ones?
The percentage could be 10%. It could be, 15%. I know a lot of my friends will do 17%. Again, the wide range of percentage based on firm, but it's also based on the service. For example, you might get 10% for preparing a return, but you might get 5% for reviewing a return because you're not doing as much work in reviewing versus preparing. Like I said, it probably took me 2 years to wrap my brain around how to set up incentive pay. And I'm still learning.
Yeah, it's like a work in progress. It's not like set in stone, and it's incentivizing enough to keep the people around. I mean, the end outcome, I always like to think in outcomes, is that you have a happy team. They feel valued. They feel part of it. And they don't want to leave, I just got an invoice from my assistant. She goes, grateful to be a part of the team. Like, I love that. I'm like, yeah, me too. I'm grateful that you're here. I think that's just awesome. It's the way it should be, and that's how it is, just like hopefully with everybody, and I'm totally aligned. I'm just like, yeah, okay. Okay, so I think we covered all of the pillars. I do recommend for those of you listening, you might want to go and re-listen. Now, Renee, some people, like you said, you like to invest in yourself in coaching, and so do I. I've spent, oh my God, hundreds of thousands of dollars in coaching for myself and being in mastermind groups and blah, blah. So I know that you have a mastermind group too for firm owners that if they don't want to figure out how to become the CEO of their firm on their own to get out of the production and do all this, and, they can figure it out and do it on their own, and it'll just probably take a lot longer and they'll have a ton of mistakes, or they can just kind of learn from someone who's completely organized like you and has all of these things figured out. What's the mastermind group about, and how can they learn more? What's the website to go to?
Thanks for asking. Yeah, Mastermind, as I mentioned, has been so helpful for me, challenging me, helping me to think outside my box and grow as a firm owner. And so several years ago, I offered a mastermind group to accounting firm owners. We now have 2 groups. They both meet on Wednesdays. We have a morning group and an afternoon group. And it's a time where other firm, like-minded business owners get together and get perspective on, say, an issue. Again, we go by the book Traction, and it's called IDS, Identify, Discuss, Solve. So you get perspective on an issue, you get accountability, you get to give feedback and share your knowledge. We do quarterly planning for the upcoming 90 days. We actually track our KPIs, and we do a book club. I think we're reading Who, Not How. We did Ideal Team Player recently. So there's different things that I do within this mastermind group. And I do invite any of the listeners that if they're feeling overwhelmed, if they need perspective, if they need space and time to think about working on their business, this is a great time to do it. In these calls, there's 2 90-minute calls per month via Zoom. And we do a preview meeting where people interested can come to a workshop where we do quarterly planning. And we ask 5 specific questions to get them to have a definite plan in place for the upcoming 90 days.
Okay.
To discern, who's going to do what by when.
Where do they go to see the preview thing?
Yeah, to sign up and get more information, it's my firm name, AdminBooks.com /accounting-mastermind. So adminbooks.com/accounting-mastermind. And I can email this
when
to you.
You send me the KPIs, the list of all of Renee's books, send me that URL. It'll be in the bottom of the show notes. Renee, thank you so much for being here with us today on the Abundant Accountant podcast. This was so fun, and I love how you have created this business for you that works, and that's part of your culture and what you wanted. And I think this would really support some other firm owners. So thank you so much for taking out the time and being here with us today.
Thank you for allowing me to hang out with you. I really enjoy sharing and teaching. That's where my heart is.
Yep. Got that education degree, putting it to use right now. So thank you again, Renee.
Thanks, Michelle.
All right. Well, that was a super fun podcast with Renee, as always. I mean, I feel like she's been here before, but maybe it's just because I've known her for a very long time. So if you want to go check out her mastermind because you don't want to figure this stuff out on your own, I am a very big proponent of that. And if you need help on the sales part because you're really good at the technical part and you're not really ready to farm out everything and outsource everything just like Renee has done, here at the Abundant Accountant, we can show you how to get paid up front, how to have enrollment conversations with confidence, how to stop trading time for dollars, even if sales calls right now make you kind of freeze or you feel a little pushy. So if you'd like to speak to us about that, then you can go to theabundantcall.com and book your complimentary strategy session with me and my team. It was lovely to have you all here. Have a lovely rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next episode.